BBI reports, we can see the belly is full right now. So anytime soon, the water will break.
Good. Okay. I think I don't even think we have to worry that we have an ultrasound or heads up, because that has already been confirmed to us as Kenyans by people who are proponents and supporters of BBI.
Yes.
They already told us they want inclusivity, meaning that they would like to have Raila has to be on the table, Kalonzo has to be on the table, Mudavadi has to be on the table. That's why they want to create positions of deputy prime ministers and several deputy presidents, etc. So they've already given us a heads up on what is in the BBI process. They've talked about it publicly. So
with
it's
the 9
not,
points agenda.
Yes, even before the committee, the BBI task force went around the country, they began to tell us what should be in BBI. The report has been prepared in advance. What they want to achieve was decided in advance before they even went to public participation among the public. But I would like to repeat something that I've said constantly. The BBI process is in an illegality to start with, because our constitution is very clear. There are only two methods of changing the constitution, of looking at the constitution in Kenya. One, the parliamentary process.
Yes.
The parliamentary initiative or the popular initiative. There is no other methodology designed by our constitution. So BBI is an illegality. It should never have happened. And in any case, there is no way in our constitution where we've said that two persons, even if they are the president and the biggest opposition leader in the country, can come up with 9 points by themselves in a Harambee house, and then come and force it down our throats as Kenyans and tell us that now we need to go get a group, the task force, send them out. Number two, even the composition of the task force is an illegality. In Kenya, even to appoint commissioners to an independent commission or any task force,
yes,
we have a methodology. We have a panel that is appointed. The panel then interviews them. People apply publicly, are interviewed, and then we are able to appoint them. So even the appointment of these people in BBI is an illegality. And then we cannot say that we need BBI to come and cure some of the challenges we have in our country. Actually, the challenges that they are talking about or purporting to want to cure are in our current constitution. And our current constitution is just that we have failed to fully implement the constitution. If we fully implemented our constitution, we would not be discussing this issue at all. Because already our constitution has issues about inclusivity, it has issues about marginalized communities, it has issues dealing with even resource distribution and so on.
Yes.
Already that is in the constitution. That is why we have the Commission on Revenue Allocation. The reason why we have a devolved government was to ensure that money went to the ground. So BBI is not bringing anything new. All those issues were dealt with in the 2010 Constitution. Can we please implement the 2010 Constitution before we begin to say that we want to change the Constitution? Also, there's been a lot of threats and statements that the BBI process will trigger a referendum. By the time somebody begins to tell you that they want to change, that they want to go to a referendum,
yes, remember,
the Constitution is capable of being changed through Parliament, except for 6 fundamental articles that only have to go to a referendum. So they should be when they tell us they want to have a referendum, do they want to change the territory of Kenya? Do they want to change the term of the president? Do they want to change the independence of the judiciary? Because those are the only things that require to go to a referendum. So I think Kenyans should be very worried that this BBI issue is being flagged around them. And BBI, unless they legitimize it by going to rebaptize it as a popular initiative or, yes, a parliamentary initiative, it is an illegality. And we should not even be discussing it. I do not know how they will bring it and tell us that is what we wanted. Who asked for it? We are very clear in the Constitution how we can ask for constitutional changes or amendments or inclusivity. Everything is in our Constitution. In fact, this Constitution of Kenya was the most consultative constitution-making process in the world. It is known. It was discussions that were held at the location level are in the National Archives at the moment. Have we gone back to that? So there is nothing new that BBI will bring to us. The 9 points are in the Constitution. We just need to implement the Constitution.
So from your assessment, we're just wasting our time.
We are wasting our time. The
heads on
BBI
the
should
wall.
never have happened, and the BBI is an illegality.
BBI
we should not even be discussing it.
Okay. All right. I would also want just to pick this particular article that we had also in the Daily Nation, and this is Magesh Angwiri saying, careful, this vote may be worse than the disease it seeks to cure. And he says here, just go to the second paragraph, where it says that what is amusing, I can just try and zoom in that so that you can see it. What is amusing is that even if the report was released tomorrow, a majority will not know what to do with it. There are those who support it merely because their political party leaders tell them it is a good thing. And then there are those who oppose it just because they have come to believe that it is meant to undermine a particular political player. Then there is a third class of people, mainly pseudo-intellectuals, whose knee-jerk reaction has been to oppose it because they make it a living, or they make a living out of it, poking holes in every initiative that is not in conformity with their own views or those of their financiers. And of course, it says those who deliver the lengthy academic papers were not thinking of how they will get the next meal, how to pay next term's fees, or even when they will ever get jobs. They were more worried about how many levels of government were suitable for this country, whether the new dispensation will do away with top-heavy representation, how many regional governments are ideal to make devolution work, and whether a prime minister is preferable to a president. Haman Wanyora, you want to comment on this?
Yes, it's serious. But first, let's get a few things, one thing or two things out of the way. Gladys Shollei is perhaps right that BBI cannot bring a new constitution to this country. If BBI were to equal to a new constitution, that would be illegal, unconstitutional. But if BBI is an initiative, then there's nothing unconstitutional about it, because it is not the change. It is an initiative to bring about change. So there's nothing unconstitutional about that. Secondly, the Constitution creates the situation where really each one of us, every Kenyan, has a duty to defend the Constitution, to promote it, to ensure that Kenya is a better place to live for all of us. Every Kenyan. Uhuru Kenyatta is a Kenyan. Raila Odinga is a Kenyan. If they have...
Not a better Kenyan than us.
No, they're just Kenyans like you and I. And you and I have the duty, not even the right, the duty to ensure that this is a better place to live in. If making Kenya a better place to live in is to come up with those things in the BBI, then I have no problem with that. I may not agree with some of the things they are doing, but I have no problem with that. So BBI really, to me, can also not be wished away. All of us on this bench this morning will agree. Nobody can dispute the fact that it brought some peace. This country was actually burning. So it has some benefit it has brought. But now going forward, if I may respond to what Ngwiri said, going forward I think whatever BBI proposes, Kenyans must avoid one thing Maura and I have been talking during the break time, is laziness. You see, the bar of this country is a country where we face very complex issues and provide very simplistic actual solutions. We are lazy when it comes to thought. So one person is saying lazily that let's move away from the presidential system because it has brought all these problems, and they list 1, 2, 3 up to 5, and none of them really holds water. So let's bring the parliamentary system. That's lazy. What Maura and I were discussing here during the break is that we need to put together Kenyans, intellectually resourceful, to come up with a constitutional change if we need one, a structure of government if we need one. I think it is generally agreed. We may dispute it here. I think people are generally agreeing there's something wrong with the structure of government. There's something wrong with the size of government and the cost of government. You know, people are beginning to look at this thing from 2010 and say, surely, honestly, some of these things are unnecessary. There's too much burden. There's little focus on the people of this country. So we need to re-engineer our constitution. I think there's general consensus. How we go about is what I'm talking about. Avoid the lazy route of saying remove presidential, bring parliamentary. That is cheap and lazy. It won't help us.